Hello everyone, and welcome to my bold and the beautiful spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Lawrence, Holy Person Victor. On Striking and the Wonderful, Lawrence Holy Person Victor played a person facing perhaps of the greatest challenge in his life. A gamble that could have a major prize. Be that as it may, assuming he fizzled, he would have a major go wrong. The ongoing status of Forrester Manifestations is insecure. That is on the grounds that, in November, Trust and Carter released an arrangement to assume control over the privately owned company that Edge and Steffy run together. This is Eric Forrester's child, and with a couple of marks, Trust and Carter are ready to run the whole thing and transform the design house into a worldwide extravagance brand. Will Trust pick love or family on B&B? This implies Lawrence, Holy Person Victor, indeed, procured a ton of value broadcast appointment. Very much as he did a month ago. Thus, he's a candidate for B&B's Entertainer of the Month for November. Notwithstanding the entertainer, Catherine Kelly Lang is likewise in the running. Brooke had one of the most vital scenes when she originally heard Trust and Carter's conspiring and afterward hurried to tell Edge all that she heard. She exploded her little girl's arrangements to caution the man she adores, her perfect partner. In the meantime, Team Morrow were two amateurs who transformed November. Together, they've essentially played out a romantic comedy right in front of us. Will and Electra had their meet charming, and presently they're going to run into significant difficulty as Remy. The most recent B&B comings and goings. These four entertainers were selected for B&B Entertainer of the Month. Furthermore, for the second month straight, citizens chose Lawrence Holy Person Victor as the champ. As Carter, he is needed to play an entire scope of feelings and situations. Carter kept an energetic guard of his thoughts and of Trust, notwithstanding an enormous measure of dismissal. Carter then thought of an imaginative method for dodging Edge and Steffy's hard numbers. Also, when he entered the Sanctum of Lions to get their marks on the agreement that named him the chief of the LLC, he was properly anxious. It appeared as though he was in any event going to withdraw. In any case, Carter did it. He escaped the workplace. Tragically for him, everything was going to go awry. At the point when Edge called Carter to his office, Carter remained steadfast, while Edge had his gotcha second. Edge let Carter he knew no he up to, and afterward he continued to tell his closest companion how double-crossed he felt. At any rate, Carter realized that disloyalty was precisely exact thing Edge would feel, yet he proceeded with the arrangement. Lawrence, Holy Person Victor was approached to do a great deal this month and pulled it off. How about we find out what he has available for fans in December? Will the gifts continue to give? Lawrence Holy Person Victor, depicting Carter Walton on The Striking and the Wonderful, keeps on charming watchers with his convincing exhibition, exploring quite possibly of the most high-stakes storylines on the show. November ended up being an essential month for Carter, as he set out on a hazardous plan close by Trust Logan, intending to wrest control of Forrester Manifestations from Edge and Steffy Forrester. The venturesome arrangement, however strong, conveyed the potential for devastating aftermath, and Lawrence's depiction astonishingly caught the intricacy of Carter's close-to-home excursion. At the core of the storyline was Carter's cooperation with Desire to change Forrester Manifestations into a worldwide extravagance brand. This move, nonetheless, required sabotaging the power of Edge and Steffy, who presently supervise the privately owned company. The stakes were great. Forrester Manifestations, an inheritance organization established by Eric Forrester, is in excess of a design house. It's an image of family pride and custom. Lawrence Holy Person Victor conveyed a nuanced execution, exemplifying Carter's assurance, weakness, and struggle under the surface. Carter's activities weren't just about Desire, they mirrored a man wrestling with his character and spot inside the organization. His devotion to trust and faith in the vision for the brand conflicted with how he might interpret the individual and expert results of his selling out. One of the most grasping minutes came when Carter, equipped with agreements to get his and Trust's command over Forrester Manifestations, entered the workplace of Edge and Steffy. The unease was overwhelming, and Lawrence ably depicted Carter's nervousness and resolve. Briefly, it seemed like he could falter, however Carter pushed forward, tying down the marks important to execute the arrangement. Nonetheless, Wynne was fleeting. Brooke Logan, depicted by Catherine Kelly Lang, heard Trust and Carter's conspiring and quickly educated Edge. Brooke's dependability to Edge and her longing to safeguard the privately run company prompted a sensational showdown. This disclosure set up for Edge to bring Carter, bringing about one of the most genuinely charged scenes of the month. At the point when Edge faced Carter, blaming him for disloyalty, the air popped with power. Lawrence carried profundity to Carter's reaction, offsetting responsibility with unfaltering conviction in his activities. The scene featured the close-to-home stakes of the storyline, with Edge communicating significant hurt and dissatisfaction, and Carter standing firm in his conviction that the organization required another heading. This critical second displayed Lawrence's capacity to explore complex feelings, setting his put as a champion entertainer on the show. For his uncommon work in November, Lawrence Holy Person Victor acquired the Striking and the Delightful Entertainer of the Month grant for the second successive time. His depiction of Carter's close-to-home excursion, from intense rebellion to calm reflection, reverberated profoundly with fans and pundits the same. Lawrence's capacity to convey the heaviness of Carter's choices and their effect on his connections added layers of authenticity to the storyline. The storyline's theatrics wasn't bound to Carter alone. Trust, played by Annika Noel, likewise confronted a critical quandary, picking either her family's inheritance and her own desires. Trust's organization with Carter was driven by her longing to cut out an unmistakable character and secure a future for herself, even to the detriment of her relationship with her mom, Brooke. Brooke's choice to uncover Trust and Carter's arrangement featured the show's continuous investigation of family dedication versus individual aspiration. Catherine Kelly Lang conveyed a strong execution as Brooke, conflicted between safeguarding Edge and her adoration for her little girl. The showdown among Brooke and Trust added one more layer of intricacy to the storyline, leaving watchers enthusiastically expecting the aftermath. In the midst of the great stakes dramatization, the show presented a lighter subplot highlighting newbies Will and Electra, whose sprouting sentiment played out like an exemplary romantic comedy. Be that as it may, their story took a more obscure turn with the presentation of Remy, a likely bad guy. This storyline gave a reviving differentiation to the strain at Forrester manifestations while prodding future struggles. As December unfurls, fans are anxious to perceive how Carter's storyline develops. Will he face retaliation for his activities, or will he figure out how to legitimize his double-crossing? The outcomes of his choice to focus on desire over steadfastness will undoubtedly echo through the existences of people around him. Also, Lawrence Holy Person Victor's exhibition keeps on producing buzz, with watchers expecting considerably more champion minutes as the story advances. Lawrence has been genuine about the difficulties and prizes of rejuvenating Carter's intricate excursion. His devotion to the job and capacity to interface with the crowd have made him a champion on the show. Whether exploring extreme showdowns or calmer, reflective minutes, Lawrence reliably conveys exhibitions that raise the material and extend watchers' interest in the person. With its blend of profound show, corporate interest, and heartfelt pressure, the striking and the wonderful keeps on enamoring its crowd. Lawrence Holy Person Victor's depiction of Carter Walton is at the core of this powerful account, and fans can hardly hold back to see what exciting bends in the road lie ahead. Love or family? Will Trust be compelled to go with shocking choice on Intense and the Delightful? Breaks are starting to frame in Trust and Brooke's relationship on the Strong and the Delightful. Mother and girl are at chances in view of Trust's takeover plan with Carter. Their bond could be cracked for good when Trust faces a tough decision. Trust was vexed when Brooke heard her Forrester manifestations takeover designs and told Edge. Trust accepts her mom double-crossed her, yet Brooke shielded her activities. In spite of the fact that Brooke is Trust's greatest ally, she disagrees with her girl's most recent choice. She believes that Trust should disregard this babble and leave the organization in the possession of the Forresters. However, Brooke is in for a shock when she discovers that Carter finishes documenting the desk work. The fate of Forrester manifestations isn't the main thing in question in this storyline. Trust could lose perhaps of the main individual in her life, Brooke keeps on keeping up with that her little girl is a decent individual. During Edge's tirade about the takeover, Brooke accused Carter more rapidly than Trust. Where it counts, Brooke accepts that Carter is the genius and Trust is a casualty in his plan. With Carter impacting Trust adversely, Brooke will arrange her little girl to cut off the friendship. Notwithstanding, the times of everybody pushing Trust around are finished. She won't let anybody, including her mom, control her life. Trust loves Carter and he's defended her when no other person would. She sees a future with him, which incorporates running Forrester manifestations. Be that as it may, Trust's dedication to Carter could cut off her friendship with her mom. Trust's constantly lived by the aphorism, have it both ways. She thinks she'll in any case have Brooke's help when she and Carter take over Forrester, yet and expect a reality check. Brooke cherishes her girl, however she realizes Trust is committing an error. She won't hold on while Trust and Carter obliterate the Forrester inheritance. The mother and girl have had conflicts before, yet this issue will push them to the limit. Will Trust risk losing her mom so she and Carter can turn into Forrester's new power couple? Trust Logan faces a tragic junction on the intense and the wonderful. Would it be a good idea for her to focus on her adoration for Carter Walton or her dependability to her mom, Brooke Logan? The fight among adoration and family is ready to reshape Trust's connections and possibly cut off her bond with Brooke for good. This high-stakes choice has enthralled fans, as it dives into subjects of freedom, desire, and the intricacies of familial love. Trust's relationship with Brooke, when established in steadfast help, is currently stressed under the heaviness of clashing needs. Brooke, who has forever been Trust's fiercest backer, is profoundly against her little girl's joint effort with Carter to take over Forrester manifestations. For Brooke, the privately owned company is in excess of an organization, it's an image of custom and heritage, intended to stay under the stewardship of the Forresters. At the point when Brooke heard Trust and Carter's arrangements and presented them to Edge, it denoted a defining moment in their mom-little girl dynamic. Trust saw Brooke's activities as a disloyalty, however Brooke safeguarded her choice, accepting she was safeguarding both the organization and her girl from committing a grave error. This conflict of points of view has just extended the break between them. Brooke's objection stems from her steadfastness to the Forresters as well as from her view of Carter's effect on Trust. She sees Carter as the main thrust behind the takeover plot, accepting he's controlling, expect his own benefit. In spite of Edge's rage at both Carter and Trust, Brooke has rushed to exonerate her little girl of full liability, seeing her as a casualty as opposed to a co-plotter. Brooke's maternal impulses push her to mediate, regardless of whether it implies taking a chance with her relationship with Trust. She asks her girl to leave Carter and the takeover plan, persuaded that Trust's ongoing way will prompt ruin. In any case, Brooke's defensive methodology just fills Trust's assurance to declare her freedom. Trust has long attempted to cut out her personality, frequently eclipsed by the assumptions for her loved ones. This storyline denotes a defining moment for her personality, as she stands up against the tensions of familial obligation. Her coalition with Carter isn't simply a heartfelt connection, it's a statement of her independence and desire. Carter's steady help has been a wellspring of solidarity for Trust, especially as she faces analysis from her loved ones. He has confidence in her vision for Forrester manifestations and has remained by her when others questioned her. For Trust, Carter addresses an accomplice who regards her fantasies and treats her as an equivalent. As the show unfurls, Trust is compelled to stand up to the results of her decisions. Assuming she proceeds with her relationship with Carter and their quest for Forrester manifestations, she takes a chance with estranging Brooke. Their bond, once strong, may not endure the aftermath from this contention. Then again, leaving Carter and the takeover plan would mean forfeiting her affection and aspirations to safeguard her relationship with her mom. This situation exemplifies the exemplary battle among adoration and family, focusing on no simple goal. Trust's choice won't just characterize her personality's future, yet in addition influence the existences of everyone around her. A lot is on the line, as the eventual fate of Forrester manifestations, the uprightness of the Logan family, and the strength of Trust's relationship with Carter remain in a precarious situation. Brooke's adoration for Trust is immovable, however even she has limits. Assuming expectation picks Carter over her mom, Brooke might be compelled to step back, unfit to approve her girl's activities. While Brooke has forever rushed to excuse previously, this disloyalty could be the limit that changes their relationship until the end of time. The repercussions of trust choice will swell across the striking and the wonderful. On the off chance that expectation and Carter prevail with regards to taking over Forrester manifestations, it could prompt a battle for control that weakens the organization. Edge and Steffy, currently tense, may fight back with their own arrangements to recover control. In the interim, Brooke's dedication to Edge could develop, further detaching trust from her loved ones. On the off chance that trust loses Brooke's help, it might likewise change her relationship with different Logans and Forresters, leaving her and Carter as outcasts in the family. This seclusion could reinforce their bond, however it would come at an incredible individual expense. As pressures fabricate, fans are left considering the way that Trust's story will unfurl. Will she risk losing her mom to remain via Carter and her vision for the organization? Or on the other hand, will she focus on her family, regardless of whether it implies abandoning her fantasies? The decisions Trust makes in the approaching episodes will shape her future as well as the elements of the Logan and Forrester families. Trust's quandary on the striking and the lovely is a demonstration of the show's capacity to wind around sincerely charged, character-driven storylines. The contention among affection and family, aspiration and custom, features the intricacies of connections and self-awareness. As Trust remains at this intersection, watchers are left as eager and anxious as can be, enthusiastically expecting the aftermath of her choice. Trust Logan's dilemma on the strong and the wonderful has made way for a convincing and profound storyline that resounds profoundly with fans. The extraordinary dramatization encompassing her battle to adjust love, desire, and familial dependability highlights the show's authority of investigating complex connections and the results of hard decisions. With every episode, the stakes move higher, leaving watchers spellbound by the likely results of Trust's life-changing choice. At the core of the contention is the pressure among Trust and her mom, Brooke Logan, whose once strong bond has started to show breaks. Brooke has forever been Trust's staunchest ally, wildly defensive of her girl's satisfaction and prosperity. Nonetheless, the disclosure of Trust's and Carter Walton's mystery intent to take over Forrester manifestations has shaken that establishment, putting mother and girl on inverse sides of an emotional fight for control. Trust's choice to line up with Carter and seek after the aggressive objective of changing Forrester manifestations into a worldwide extravagance brand difficulties the qualities Brooke holds dear. For Brooke, the organization addresses something beyond a business. It's a heritage interlaced with the Forrester family's ancestry and personality. By endeavoring to wrest control from Edge and Steffy Forrester, Trust isn't just imperiling the organization's future, yet additionally gambling the very connections that have characterized her life. At the point when Brooke heard Trust and Carter's takeover plans and promptly educated Edge, it was a second that set the crack among mother and girl. Trust saw Brooke's activities as a significant disloyalty, an infringement of trust that uncovered where Brooke's loyalties really lay. In any case, according to Brooke's viewpoint, her choice to stand up was a demonstration of affection, a frantic endeavor to safeguard both the organization and her little girl from committing an error she could lament. Brooke's conviction that Carter is controlling expectation adds one more layer of intricacy to the circumstance. Regardless of Edge's displeasure at both expectation and Carter, Brooke sees her little girl as a casualty of Carter's impact as opposed to a willing co-backstabber. Her maternal senses drive her to protect Trust from Carter's apparent ruses, regardless of whether it implies standing up to her girl head-on. Trust's activities in this storyline mirror a huge change in her personality. Long eclipsed by the assumptions and choices of others, she is at last stating her freedom and assuming command over her predetermination. Her organization with Carter is as much a proclamation of her independence as it is a heartfelt connection. Interestingly, Trust is focusing on her own vision and wants over the assessments of everyone around her. Carter's resolute help has been instrumental in this change. He has remained by Trust when others questioned her, furnishing her with the consolation and organization she pines for. Together, they share a dream for the eventual fate of Forrester manifestations, one that breaks liberated from the requirements of custom and embraces development. As Trust pushes ahead with her arrangement, the outcomes of her activities pose a potential threat. Assuming she keeps on remaining via Carter and seek after their common aspirations, she gambles with estranging Brooke and possibly losing her mom's affection and backing. This result would stamp an overwhelming break in their relationship, one that might demonstrate unsalvageable. Then again, leaving Carter and the takeover intent to conciliate Brooke would come at a huge individual expense. It would mean forfeiting her fantasies as well as the relationship that has provided her solidarity and motivation. For Trust, the decision is profoundly private and laden with close-to-home weight. Brooke's reaction to Trust's activities is similarly complicated. Her affection for her little girl is unflinching, however even she has her cutoff points. Assuming expectation picks Carter over her family, Brooke might be compelled to separate herself, unfit to help a choice that conflicts with all that she has confidence in. This real love approach could act as a reminder for Trust, or it could drive her further away. Brooke's choice to defy Trust instead of discreetly support her features the profundity of her obligation to her family's inheritance. Be that as it may, it likewise brings up issues about the limits of parental help. When does safeguarding a friend or family member go too far into control? What's more, how much independence ought to Trust be permitted as she explores her own way? The aftermath from Trust's choice will reach out past her close connections, influencing the whole Forrester family and the eventual fate of their organization. In the event that expectation and Carter prevail in their takeover, it could weaken Forrester manifestations and touch off a fight for control among its partners. Edge and Steffy, currently careful about Trust's desires, may fight back with their own arrangements to recover control. In the interim, the fracture among Trust and Brooke could have broad ramifications for the Logan family. Brooke's faithfulness to Edge and the Forresters might develop, leaving Trust segregated and possibly alienated from her mom and other relatives. This segregation could fortify expectations' bond with Carter, yet it would likewise leave her defenseless and without the security net of her family's help. Eventually, Trust's quandary is an extremely important occasion for her personality. The decision among adoration and family, aspiration and custom, is one that will shape her character and decide her future. As she wrestles with this choice, watchers are left to consider the bigger inquiries at play. Can a door really vanquish all? Or on the other hand, is the draw of family ties areas of strength for two even consider surviving? As the show unfurls, fans are anxiously expecting the goal of this holding storyline. Will Trust gamble with all that to remain via Carter and her vision for Forrester manifestations? Or on the other hand, will she focus on her family and endeavor to fix the harm to her relationship with Brooke? The solutions to these inquiries won't just affect Trust's future, yet additionally the elements of the Logan and Forrester families. Trust's battle on the strong and the wonderful is a strong investigation of the strains between affection, desire, and family unwaveringness. It features the intricacies of human connections and the hard decisions that characterize our lives. As Trust remains at this intersection, watchers are left as eager and anxious as ever, anxious to perceive how her story unfurls and what's in store for one of the show's most convincing characters.